Borda, guten Morgen, buenos dias. Okay, so two quick little passages I'm going to connect together. Matthew 7:24 to 27, and then the parable of the sower afterwards. But just one section of the parable of the sower. Therefore, this is Matthew 7. Therefore, whoever hears these sayings of mine and does them, I will liken him to a wise man who built his house on the rock. And the rain descended, the floods came, and the winds blew and beat on that house. And it did not fall, for it was founded on the rock. But everyone who hears these sayings of mine and does not do them will be like a foolish man who built his house on the sand. And the rain descended, the floods came, and the winds blew and beat on that house, and it fell, and great was its fall. So it says, therefore, whoever hears these sayings of mine. Which sayings? All of the sayings in Matthew 5, 6, and 7, which are referred to as the Sermon on the Mount. So he's saying things like, build a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. Be wary of false prophets. Enter by the narrow gate. Ask, seek, knock. Don't judge. Don't worry. Don't serve both God and money. Let your light shine before others. Fast, pray, tithe, for God only. Love your enemy, etc., etc. So that, practicing all of those and doing it well, which is a daily, continual deepening of one's spiritual maturity, is like Jesus says, I will liken him to a wise man who built his house on the rock. So practice all of this, and Jesus will liken you to a wise man who builds his house on the rock. When the rains and the floods come, well, it doesn't say when, but anyway, it's expected. The floods came, the winds blew, and they beat on that house, and it did not fall because it was founded on the rock. And then I'd like to go to Matthew 13. So this is the parable of the sower I'm going to talk about. And if you don't already know this, he's describing a man sowing seed in his field. And he just scatters it unsparingly, everywhere and anywhere. And that each of those seeds falls into one of four categories. Some fall on the wayside, and gets eaten by birds. Some falls into stony places, has no depth, and then immediately springs up and is burned by the sun. Third is it does have good soil, but it grows among thorns and weeds and gets choked. And the fourth one actually has perfect soil, good conditions, produces a crop and bears fruit. But the fruit that it bears is sometimes 100-fold, sometimes 60, some 30, which on average is 63.3. So 1 in 4 produces a crop of 63.3. Bear that in mind. The parable of the sower is also in Mark chapter 4 and Luke chapter 8. If you look at the wording between each of them, there are subtle differences and things that show up ever so slightly more cryptic, let's say. But in Mark's, he says to the disciples, do you not understand this parable? How then will you understand all the parables? So this is the parable to understand. The sower sows the word is the next verse. In Luke's version, he says the seed is the word. So you've got sower sowing words out. Some of it lands on good crop. Most of it either withers away, gets eaten by birds, or is choked by thorns. But when it lands a good crop, it's exponential. And the seed is the word of God. So that's really cool to think. But getting back to Sorry, I'm really waffling. I'm quite agitated this morning. But getting back to the Matthew 7, building a house on the rock. The second category of seed efficacy, let's say, is like that. He who received the seed on stony places, this is he who hears the word and immediately receives it with joy. So we see this. We see people receiving the word of God, enjoying, like, worshipping him, like loud party music almost. We love you, Jesus. We're singing hymns and stuff. But because he has no root in himself. And how do you get root? Building the foundations into the rock. How do you build foundations into the rock? By practicing the faith. So that's how you get root. By getting deeper into the walk. By practicing faith. So he endures only for a while when tribulation or persecution arises because of the word. I'll say that again. When tribulation or persecution arises because of the word. Not if, because of the word. And the word is God. The word is with God. So as we walk into faith with Christ, we will, if we're doing things the right way, face persecution. If we're just performing, we probably won't be persecuted because we don't have it in our heart. So then the final part, immediately he stumbles. And I'll read the parabolic version of that, which is, some fell on stony places where they did not have much earth, and they immediately sprang up because they had no depth of earth. But when the sun was up, they were scorched, and because they had no root, they withered away. So the sun is the persecution. Immediately they sprang up because they had no depth of earth. So you don't want to spring up too quickly, actually. That's important. Wow. Yeah, sorry. I'm going to try and re-record this another time. But I'll post it anyway. Yeah, it's intense, isn't it? Walking with Jesus. I thought I was going to get to sit off after a while. I am tired and stressed a little bit. Pick up your cross. Pick up your cross.